Every child is too valuable a resource to discard or to leave behind. The NAEP, the National Education Achievement Progress, the nation's report card, if you will, for our schools, has shown the results of No Child Left Behind. By empowering parents and communities with information about whether or not the children are learning to read, we have seen more progress in improving reading scores in the last 5 years than in the previous more than several decades. And Hispanic scores, Hispanic students in 4th grade reading rose 13 points from 2000 to 2005, the largest increase over a 5-year period in the history of American testing. Now today I want to talk about an experience that virtually every American shares. And that is the experience of virtually every American being the son or daughter of immigration. For most Americans are but a few generations removed from an immigrant. I have on the wall of my office in the West Wing a picture of my great-grandfather, Olaf Julius Rove. He's a rather formidable looking guy, a Norwegian who came to the country with very little and came to love America and never to forget his roots as a Norwegian. In fact, he served as the vice consul for Norway in Milwaukee and spent a considerable amount of his time helping Norwegian immigrants arrive and settle and acclimate and assimilate into America. In fact, when we won our independence, ended our association with Sweden in the early part of the 20th century, the Norwegian government asked him to become the consul of Norway and move to New York, and he refused to do so because while he loved Norway, he did not want to give up his American citizenship. I keep that picture there to remind me of the promise of our great country. Because think about this, we are a nation of immigrants. Everything that this country is, everything that we have achieved, everything that we hold, everything that we promise is because we're a nation of diversity, brought together by immigration, and sharing a common dream. In fact, you know, if you're a historian or an amateur historian like me and you go back and read, it's amazing how this issue that we confront today has come up time and time again in America. In fact, in preparation for my speech today, I went to the White House Library, which is a lovely room on the first floor of the White House, and I picked out the 2 volumes that every American must read if they truly hope to understand immigration. And that is, of course, the monumental 1938 2-volume history of Norwegian immigration to America. It's actually sort of interesting. I learned a few things. For example, in the category of things you didn't know but always wanted to know about Norway, as a percentage of its total population, Norwegian immigration to the United States at its height in the 19th century was second only to Ireland as a percentage of the nation's population coming to America. And Norwegian immigration didn't occur without a backlash. And in this backlash, there were public distortions of the character of Norwegian immigrants. For example, one prominent Wisconsin politician called us uncivilized. He disparaged the way we Norgies lived. He said that he had, quote, seen the Norwegians living without what any other people would have considered the absolute necessities of life, burrowed, so to say, in holes in the ground, in huts dug in the banks of the earth, end quote. And he didn't say it in an approving fashion. And yet, Norwegians came, and Norwegians persevered, and people like Knut Rockne and Vice President Hubert Humphrey and CBS anchorman Eric Severide and writer Wallace Stegner and actor James Cagney, they were all Norwegian Americans. You know, there's an important parallel between the distorted perception of Irish immigrants or German immigrants or Italian immigrants or Nordic immigrants or Chinese or Japanese immigrants in the 19th and 20th century and what we're seeing in the debate today over immigration. Unfortunately, the debate has clouded the views of some people in America and led them to fail to understand that Hispanics and all immigrants are real Americans. It is vital that our country not fall into this trap. Debate about immigration must be civil and respectful. mindful of the dignity and value of every human being involved. More importantly, we need to remember the shared values that draw men and women to our shores and that drew our parents or our grandparents or our great-grandparents before us. These shared values inform the President's thinking on immigration. He understands we need to secure our borders and enforce our laws. And he also understands that immigration is a positive force for good in America, vital to keep it growing and strengthening as a country. He also understands that America is united by a shared commitment to the values of the American dream. With all due respect, there's no Slovenian dream, there's no Filipino dream, there's no Mali dream or Chad dream, but you go anywhere in the world and say the phrase, the American dream, and people know what you're talking about because they want to come and share in it. Now, while we recognize the American dream as our common ground, we must also recognize that our current immigration system is broken, and it needs a comprehensive solution that is consistent with American values and that is practical. There are 5 elements of a comprehensive solution to our immigration problem. First, we must secure the borders, and we're making progress in this. Few Americans understand the